become. Can you honestly say to yourself, time a lot? Because time is life. And every time a year passes, you are basically measuring time. Because a year is the passing of time in our cultures. And an opportunity to redefine your priorities is why New Year's come. Let me ask you to make a note of a couple of suggestions I want to make. First of all, a new year is an opportunity to refine your purpose, to go back and check it. Secondly, a new year is an opportunity to redefine your life's vision, to see if you are still on course or if you need to adjust, to reestablish worthwhile goals. And I use the term worthwhile because some of our goals may not be worth pursuing anymore. And fourthly, a new year is an opportunity for you to bury the past and move into a new future. I love New Year's Day because the very word new means that there was an old one somewhere. In other words, time is a blessing or a curse, depending on how you manage it. A couple of things about time. Time is life. If I ask you, how old are you? What I'm asking you is, what is your life? And you would say, my life is 80 years old, or 30 years old, or 15. We measure life in terms of time. We define life by time. Life is measured by time because life is determined by what we do with time. Life is lived out in time. Life is qualified by time. Life is also the passing of time. What have you become is totally dependent on how you use time. Life is also stopped by time. When you die, time stops. When you die, you move out of time into what they call eternity. In essence, death is life leaving time. So we are about to cross into another period of what we call time. We call it a new year. And time is temporary, but life is eternal. We were put in time to live a portion of life. And here's what I discovered about time. What is time? Time is an interruption in eternity. Time is also defined in my book as a small measure of eternity. Time is a piece of eternity. Time is a slice of forever with a beginning and an end. Time is the limited period during which an action or a process exists or takes place. In other words, time is a measure of space. Time itself has its own power. I was thinking about this last night when I read Ecclesiastes chapter 3, and you might want to read that with me. Verse 10, it says, I have seen the burden God has placed on all men. He has made everything beautiful in what? In its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men that they cannot fathom what God has done from beginning to end. This statement is loaded, and I don't want to touch much of it, but I just want to make sure you understand the word beautiful. The word beautiful there is the Hebrew word that means mature, which means that God matures everything in its time. So there's a time for maturity. In other words, God created time, but he doesn't live in it. And therefore, when God speaks to us, we got to be careful. God lives in forever, but he placed us in time. He designed time to make life easier for us.
If you leave a comment, you will be blocked. We got a guest teacher in here speaking, and y'all in here talking, disrespecting this guest teacher. If you in here typing, you will be blocked. Don't come in here asking me how I'm doing. Give a fuck how I'm doing. I got a man in here speaking, giving good knowledge and teaching. Respect the teacher, please. What's up, Aunt? Block. Shut your stupid ass out of here. I just told you, you typing, you
God
blocked.
created time to give a piece of eternity a measure, and he put us in it. And God created time for us to live in it so that we could experience relief from eternity. I mentioned this some time ago, and I'll say it again. If you live in eternity, it's a tough place to live. I used to wonder why God told Adam, don't touch the tree of life. And when Adam sinned, the first thing God did was kicked him out of the garden, and he put a flaming sword with cherubim, and the Bible says to protect the tree of life. If Adam had gotten to that tree after he had sinned, we would be without hope. Because if you make a mistake in eternity, it's an eternal mistake. I thank God for time. Time is a relief. Time is good news. Look at Genesis 1:14. It tells you when God created time. It says, and God said, let there...
That's not no Dr. Ben. I told you if you type, you're getting blocked. That ain't no motherfucking Dr. Ben. I told you, dumb motherfuckers, if you type, you get blocked. Don't come in here talking while the teacher is talking. Dumb ass nigga. This man in here talking, trying to teach everybody else.
Lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark what? Seasons and days and years. So God created time by literally designing the universe to keep time. Many scientists interpret the universe as a big clock, and they say that someone must have wound it up. They try to explain that there must have been a creator because the universe is running with such precision that the planets not only are revolving around stars, but they don't clash into each other. Someone seemed to have set this in motion, and God had designed all of that so that there can be measure for days and years. In other words, God says in verse 18, this is good. Everybody say time is good. What's the purpose for time? I found this interesting. First of all, time was given to us to take us out of eternity. Secondly, time was given us to protect us from forever. If you had a pain in your back in eternity, it would be an eternal pain. Thank God for time. Time has a beginning and an end. Time is also given to us to measure existence of life, to define life, to measure the quality of life. Time is given to us to account for our lives and to define the distance between our beginning and our end. Time is given to us to live life in doses. Time is given to us to measure the purpose of our life, why we live. I thank God for time. But time has some limitations, and I want to just quickly go over them. Job chapter 14 says, and this is a verse you probably want to remember if you're still breathing. Verse 5. Let's read it together out loud. Go. Man's days are determined. You have decreed the number of his months and have set limits he cannot exceed. So look away from him and let him alone, Lord, until he has what? Put in his time like a hired man. That's in the Bible. God says, look, when I gave you birth, I hired you to do something, and I got a certain period for you to do it in, and you can't exceed that. Have you noticed that the last couple of weeks or days, a lot of folks been dying suddenly? Do you know why? They ain't supposed to cross over. And some of you are here tonight, and maybe you're supposed to cross over, but you only got 1 month into the next year. You better get saved now. Look at that verse again. God says what? I have set limits that you cannot exceed. Sometimes you wonder why my husband died, my wife died, my child died, and I outlived them. It couldn't be because it was just the limit.
Makes
You ain't
sense to me.
supposed to be dead yet.
I just lost my nigga. Can't exceed
Determined. Time is determined. Write this down, please. Very important. Psalm 39, verse 4. Write it down. I want you to say it out loud. Read it. Lord, make me know mine end and the measure of my days. What it is that I may know how frail I am. In other words, I am only here for a breath of time. So let me know what? Let me know mine end. Let me know my destiny. Let me know what I'm supposed to do with my life. Quickly. I like this one. Psalm 90, verse 12. Read out loud. Go. So teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom. In other words, let me know how long and how much I have to do so I can use my days effectively. I like this one. Ecclesiastes 8, verse 6. Read out loud. Go. For there is a proper time and a procedure for every matter under heaven. This is a deep one here. In other words, there's a proper way and time to do everything. Time is so powerful in the hand of God. Here's something I thought was interesting too. Time is measured in seconds. We saw that a moment ago by that video. And we are amazed sometimes how fast time can leave us. And we measure time in minutes and hours and days and decades and centuries. But time measures life also in yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I like this one. Whatever you've been through in 2013, you can now say it was last year. Isn't that good? Tell your neighbor, I was broke last year. Tell your neighbor, I lost my house last year. Say it. Say that one, hey. In other words, whatever happened in the past separates you from the future. That's how good time is. Can I put it this way? Time measures life in past, present, and future. Tell your neighbor, that's my old girlfriend. Say it, I used to be sick. That was yesterday. Health is on the way. Time separates your past from your present and your future. Make a note of this. Time measures life in seasons, winter, summer, autumn, and spring.
It's Dr. Miles Monroe. That's where my teachings come from.
Because time protects us from living in a permanent condition. You won't be a divorcee all your life. Time will prove that. You won't hurt with grief all your life from the death of your family. Time will deal with that. You won't be sitting around because that man didn't marry you. There's another man on the way with a fantastic life, with plenty more money than the one you was trying to get. Time will sort this out. Give God a big praise right there, some of y'all. Praise the Lord, Sister Claudine. Everybody say, time changes everything. Nothing is permanent in time. Make a note of this one, please, and this is very important. Time is the only commodity on earth given equally to every human being. Time is therefore the only commodity every human possesses. We don't possess the same amount of money. We possess the same amount of time. So the key to life is what you become in life is determined how you use the time you have, and that's why we use terms like spending time. Time is a currency. Every human has the same amount every day, and time, like currency, must be spent. And here's the problem. Time is used to buy life. So whatever you are, you spend your time buying it. Even if you're broke, you use your time to become broke. If you're fat, oh dear, you use your time. Eating the wrong thing, you use your time not jogging. You see, time determines everything. If your marriage is under stress, it's because you haven't used your time in your marriage properly. Time is so powerful that whatever you invest your time in, you become. You got one new year about to start. My question is, what you going to do in the next 12 months? And what you going to buy by December 31st, 2014? What are you going to look like? What are you going to have or not have? There are some people in your life you need to drop in 2014. Why? They ain't help you in 2013. In other words, time gives you time to change relationships. I put it to you, friends, that you can actually treat time just like money. Write this down. You can have time stolen. How many of you sat with people for 2 hours? When you was finished, you wasn't sure what happened. I mean, 2 hours of your life gone, and they talked to you, and you gained nothing.
If you do me like
The
that,
older
I
I get, the less
despise you.
time I have to just listen to talk. I don't know about you, but you ain't old enough yet. There's a certain period in your life where you realize, I ain't got time for this. People just kind of wonder in your life, let's talk. Talk about what? Write this down. Time can be what? Abused. Time can also be lost. You can lose it, just like money. Time can be squandered, just like money. You can spend an entire day. Have you ever said this? I don't know where the day gone. Yeah, I know it. That's right. Why? You squandered it. It didn't take you closer to your goals, didn't take you closer to your vision, didn't accomplish the things you wanted, and you spent it and squandered it on stuff that didn't count. Time is more important